I'm off on my way to do another loop in the Great Smoky Mountains. This time it's the Big Creek Campground. It is raining pretty well. Looks like it's actually clearing up a bit. Station for Duke Power, heading into the park. I think I can just shove them out of the way with the car. One of the nice things about having a real old car right here at the picnic grounds. On this backpacking trip, I started once again from the Big Creek picnic area. On the first day, I traveled a somewhat level and pleasant 5.1 miles on the Big Creek Trail, gaining about 1,600 feet. I turned south onto Swallow Fork Trail, ascending almost 2,400 feet over 3.9 miles to reach the ridge on Mount Sterling. At that point, I turned northeast onto Mount Sterling Ridge Trail for about 1.7 miles to reach Campsite 38. On the second day, due to an unexpected 1.5 mile backtrack, I ended up going 9.3 miles on Baxter Creek Trail instead of the 6.3 mile distance in order to reach my car. Well, not too bad for an old timer like myself. Thanks to a little backtracking, I was able to get in a pretty fair distance and elevation gain. Well, I'm using this little DJI Osmo Cam, giving it a shot for this hike. So, it looks like I'm set, and I have my patch cords and cable right here that I forgot to take with me last time. So I think we're just about ready to go. You can see all the storm damage. That's just in this one spot. I'm gonna have to cook a little bit here. 9 o'clock. Oof. So I have about 8 hours of light left for 11 miles. And when you hit the uphill, you are not going to exceed a mile per hour. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of night hike today. But it's in the Smokies. It's gorgeous. And the temperature is actually just very pleasant. This time, the only thing I forgot was my hat. But that's okay. That's all right. I've got a nice North Face shell. I've got some fleece if I need it. Poncho if I need it. So we should be good. Guess it's time to head on up the trail here. See how much I can get accomplished. We have our first spring flower. Looks like the yellow trillium. This is also called the yellow wake robin, and it is endemic to the southeastern United States, and particularly known for being in the Great Smoky Mountains. Looky what we have here. Also common in the Appalachian regions and other mesic forests, it's the longspur violet, Viola rostrata. That characteristic spur is just hard to miss. Oh boy, even more. Beautiful, beautiful. This is bloodroot. This is another flower common to the east that grows from a rhizome. That's a horizontal stem that has shoots growing up with the flower and roots growing down. As the name implies, the root does have a red juice, but it's poisonous, so do not take it internally, obviously. From what I've read, it blooms from March to May, depending on the weather, and this is interesting. Ants spread the seeds for it. Believe it or not, they've got a name for that, Myrmecoccary. Can't forget our asters. Here's Robin's plantain, another daisy-like member of the Asteraceae family. If you have a magnifying glass, you can see the exquisite detail of the disc florets, or little flowers, in the center. Well, the sun has finally come out. Nice and clear. Kind of pretty. Wow, with this lighting, you gotta love that. This one is purple phacelia, also called fernleaf phacelia. You can see why looking at the shape of the leaf. That's the one thing about this, I don't know just how well it's focusing. This is star chickweed. The flower name is inspired by its appearance, as you can see, and it blooms from mid to late spring for about a month. I was looking on the NC State's website on the Extension Gardener page. You can see the link on the screen, and it says the seeds can be ground and used to thicken soups, to make bread. But as always, anytime you go to eat something, research it yourself and make sure. I just thought I would share with you what I found on the website. Oh, here we are. Got even more. This is golden ragwort. This is another member of the aster family, as you can see from the petals, and it's fairly common, but still a pretty flower that you will find along the more open areas in the Smokies. Here's our ever-favorite dog hobble. That should be blooming in another month or so. Really pretty. This is one of the more interesting features of the Big Creek Trail. The first one we come to, really. Oh, I do love water. I do love waterfalls. There is an undefinable, yet undeniable, intrinsic correlation between the dynamic energy, the movement and power of the flowing water and the peace, which slowly and subtly saturates one's being at the most fundamental level. And here is Mouse Creek Falls. It takes about 2 miles on the Big Creek Trail to reach this beautiful oasis. It's a great place to stop, visually take in the tumbling, cascading flow, and allow the attendant peace to permeate the soul. This Big Creek Trail is the one that I hiked out on my second day when I did the hike from Cosby over Low Gap and came down and then came out this direction the next day. So far this is all trail that I've hiked before, and it's nice to be able to see a few familiar landmarks. You'll notice that from my previous comments that I came out a bit light this time, and believe it or not, that's on purpose. For instance, you'll notice right here on the little clip, I do not have my 35mm camera with me this time. I figured between using this new little DJI to see what it does, and I'm only borrowing it, and having my phone in its gimbal, it was just a bit much to bring a third one. So I went ahead and left that home. We're just going to have to see what this one does. The other thing it's worth mentioning is, because I've got another really long 10+ mile on my first day, which is around 11 or 12, I'm probably not going to be able to do as much of the artistic stuff as I would like, but I'll fit in what I can. I'm not entirely certain, but it kind of looks like the green elf cup fungi. The Chlorsiboria genus is part of the Ascomycota, which are the sac fungi. In any case, it does add some beautiful color to the forest floor. Okay, I have just taken a nice 15-18 minute break here streamside to pop up my GPS and get a peek at where I'm at. And while I'm at it, I figured I'd go ahead and program in some proximity alarms to let me know when I get close. And I thought, you know what, while I'm here, I went ahead and manually entered my route. So, all set and all done. That took a little while, but now I have to wait while it acquires satellites. I have a fair bit of tree cover at the moment. Meanwhile, you can see the pleasant streamside view. Wow, look at those. That little fringed look on it is just really pretty. This is my favorite of all the Phacelia species. Such an intricate and elegant appearance. Because of the cooler temperatures required for seed germination process, this species is usually found over 3,500 feet elevation. Not surprising that they are rather common in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, huh? Well, looks like we finally are making some progress here. We're just coming up to the point I can see up ahead here. Okay, as you can see, we reached our intersection. That's Swallow Fork Trail, and we're about to do 4 miles of oh boy. And by that I mean oh boy, what an elevation gain. 2,000 or 3,000 or more. I'll check on that. But that's a lot. So I'm going to stop and eat lunch real quick. And to do that, I may as well continue on. I'd say this makes a pretty good place to sit down and eat lunch. What a great place to eat lunch. Nice streamside view. And looky here. We come to our first bridge on the, I think it's the Swallow Fork Trail. I gotta stop. That is pretty. Although other people might say gorgeous, incredible, something like that. Okay, get a load of this. They are wanting me to cross this. That's going to require a little effort, and I might have to take my shoes off. Okay, I'm going to switch back over to my phone. Okay, my GPS is not acquiring satellites. I mean, look at the trees, no wonder. But I have a feeling I'm pretty close. In fact, I just see the ridge. I'm just about to reach the saddle in the ridge. So I know I'm there. This is where I'm gonna hit Mount Sterling, or that one that becomes Mount Sterling, or is Mount Sterling. I think it's Mount Sterling that I'm gonna hit here at about 30, 40 feet, if I'm correct. Last time, even if I had remembered my gimbal, I had broken the tripod legs, but now I ordered a new one for $7 or $8 and works just fine. In fact, the legs are just a touch longer than they used to be. So if I hold it by the legs, once I screw it on here, now I can hold it even a little further away if I need to. But let's take a look here. And it's just after 4. So about 12:20, 12:30 starting up and getting here by 4:05-ish. Not too bad for that massive uphill. Okay, this is a sight for sore eyes. Sure enough, that was the Swallow Fork Trail. Here is the Mount Sterling that's gonna go on off there to the right, south. And this, the last time I was in this area and took this on down to the left here, whew, and that was a long, long hike. That's the one where I camped near the bottom of the mountain, and then I had about another 12, 14 miles to get out. So that was quite the hike. This one I only have about 12 in, and then the short hike tomorrow. Actually, this is my way of putting off hiking for a second so I can catch my breath. But we got to get going at some point, so may as well get going. I did not do a whole lot of video or photographs on the way up. Just look at that dappled light out there. It is so pretty. You get that dark trunk contrast with the bright and the brilliant green where the sun is hitting. And you can tell we are up at a much higher elevation, getting into and approaching spruce fir. You can see right here. You can see at this point of the hike that the ground was covered with these cute little eastern hemlock cones. Sadly, once you're on the ridge here, Mount Sterling Ridge Trail, it is not completely flat. I just gained 100, 200 some feet, maybe two or 300 feet. And you're thinking that's not that bad. But after you've gained more than 1,000 or 2,000 feet very quickly, it's amazing what a difference that does to your appreciation for just a few hundred feet later on. But pretty up here. It has a much more open feel in this little section I'm in right now. Really pretty. This is the most cherished aspect of the hike. My first downhill. In fact, I can see through the trees. I think I can see the sign that tells me that I've reached the intersection with the Mount Sterling Trail where it intersects the Mount Sterling Ridge Trail. This is the trail I hiked up, the one that's going to go off to the right here in a second. When I did my Mount Sterling Ridge, Pretty Hollow Gap, Cataloochee, and all that loop. Let's go ahead and get going while there's still daylight. Sure enough, that's the trail we're on. Only 1.4 miles ago? Wow. Okay, what we're interested in here, yes, that's a pretty hollow gap. There, where we came from. Okay, what we're interested in is this one right here. Onward, and I guess we're not done with the up, at least not for a little bit. Oh yeah, I remember this from the last time. When I came up the Mount Sterling Trail and hit the ridge, I turned right this direction that I'm heading so I could come up to the campsite that I'm going to go to here. It was like half a mile further up, so I figured why not. And I got to the sign, I thought, oh, this is it. Nope. That's just for the horses. We get to go a little further on. Yep, we're almost there. Just past the tie-up for the horses. And I knew it's right next to it, just barely beyond, is the actual fire tower, is the campsite. And the fire tower at campsite 38. Well, I have it all set up and ready to go. The breeze is coming not quite perpendicularly, but when it does kick up, it kicks up pretty hard. So I might change it to this tree over here, so I'll be right in line with the wind, and perhaps it won't blow me around so much. Gotta take a quick look at the fire tower and then get food. This fire tower is not much, it's not really used anymore. I think it was back in the 70s, maybe 80s. I'm not sure, I'll have to check that. But it's still here, still available, but you can see some of the support logistics here, powered, I'm assuming, by all the solar over here. So they still keep it going though, so I'm assuming that what they're using that for is to power repeaters or antennas up at the top. Let's go just take a quick look, then let's get some food. Oh, this looks familiar. Okay, welcome to the fire tower. hammock's right at the tip of my finger, about 50 feet back into the woods there. Well, that was the fire tower, and it is beautiful up here. And I did want to catch this kind of near sundown, like I did. I'll bet you can guess why. If I do it at sundown, I don't have to do it at sunrise. Okay, it is morning. I thought I'd wait a while for the sun to come up to where you could see something. I'll go up the fire tower again. Appears that one of the other campers has beat us to it, but the view will still be very, very pretty. Figured it'd be a good thing to have. To have breakfast up here with some fellow campers. Thought we'd take a look at the sunrise. This is a nice way to start the day. Wow. Oh, there is indeed a double rainbow.
The one goes all the way across.
And I just can't see it all without the... Oh, man. Well, that was an interesting session. Ava and Joey, that was very nice people that I met up there. And beautiful sunrise, as you saw. Additionally, with all that fun, it went from that beautiful, clear, with fluffy cloud, and then the sunrise, the rainbow, to rain at 50, 40 some degrees. So we got the full gamut this morning. It was completely worth taking the time. I mean, this is now about 9 o'clock, so we really spent some time up there, but it was such a beautiful way to start the day. It was worth every moment. Well, it is 8:30. I was misquoting myself or stated the wrong time earlier. And it's time to head out of camp. Got everything torn down. Got up, like I showed you earlier, and decided I wanted to head up to the fire tower that's right in front of me here. But to do that, I only got halfway down tearing down the camp before packing it up, before I had to rush up there. So I left stuff on the ground. So I came back and slowly packed it all up. Now I'm all packed up and ready to head out. It turns out that got down to about 40 degrees overnight, so it was a little cool. Fortunately though, had enough stuff with me. The hammock's insulated, so between that and base layers and jacket and stuff, pulled out the puffy jacket and made it just fine. It was really a pleasant night, and that was a very special experience to be able to be up there in the tower and see the sunrise, the original sunrise, and the sunrise above the cloud layer, and then the rainbow, then the rain. We got to see, you couldn't ask for a more complete morning picture experience. Time to leave the gorgeous views and head on down Baxter Creek Trail. 6 miles. But 6 miles downhill. Aha! Water. 700 feet. I am completely out of water after breakfast. Probably should do that. I'll go ahead and do that. Alright. See what we can do with that. Excuse me. As you can probably tell, I ran into the same people that I was with at the fire tower. They were kind enough to actually, the young lady was kind enough to video the water scene. I know, riveting stuff, right? But nice to see what type of resources you have on a given trail. So that was obviously with 6 miles to go and no water. Even though it's downhill, I'm going to want some water. So good to pack it up and get the water. The downside, sorry about that. The downside is that it's 700 feet down to the water source. And the reality is it has a nasty way of requiring 700 feet to get back up to the trail. And after yesterday, I'm kind of ready for a little less uphill. That's alright, here we are. Here we are, that's where we left off. And 5.8 miles down. Here we have some more of the ubiquitous shell fungi. See them all over. Looks like we've come to a junction. I'm assuming it's a water source. Well, let's check it out and see what it is. Aha. I'm guessing some type of attraction. Maybe it's a water source or something, but just letting us know not to go off trail, even though it looks like a trail. Okay, never mind. On with the hike. Wow. The trail does get a bit interesting in parts, doesn't it? That could have been worse. This one is also called ground pine. One thing I hate are these roots just constantly over the trail. You cannot get a firm step without slipping, pivoting, and sliding. The other thing about Baxter Creek Trail here is that it has been one solid session of big tree falls, massive things across the trail. Now this one we can get over pretty easily, but a lot of them are ones you have to really go yards around, uphill, or you have to do a climbing exhibition. But I know that they're trying to get around to all this stuff, but that's one thing I can't wait for until they get to some of these things. Time for a rest break. And I forgot to tell you, just had this shoelace break right here. So I took the one that's remaining and zipped around, tied it around itself. So it'll work enough to get me down, but isn't it fun? I always manage to break right in the middle, not after or right at the end. Man, all that windfall, it is tremendously blocked up. I mean, in a lot of places. But it's doable, it just takes some extra effort. But we're beginning to see some more of the wildflowers as we get down lower in elevation. I think we're about 3.5 miles down, so just about another 2.5 to go. Well, I guess I better quit resting and get on with it. It's almost like they're trying to tell you something about the trail ahead. Maybe don't go? I think this is just an old, faded turkey tail. Could be one of the lookalikes, but I don't think so. Okay. Can't beat these little, I think it's squirrel corn or Dutchman's breeches. These are Dutchman's breeches. They are a beautiful bifurcated white flower that is yellow at the bottom. As the name implies, it really does look like a pair of pants hanging upside down, and it is known to grow alongside a similar flower called squirrel corn. And sure enough, I found some squirrel corn growing nearby. It is another pretty flower of the eastern hardwood forests. Oh, here's a pretty sight. About 1.5 miles from the car. I think I'll stop here and get some water. The mayapple, the flower, kind of hangs down below the leaves. The common blue violet is another flower common to the eastern half of the United States. This is the yellow trillium, also called the yellow wake robin. It is another iconic late spring flower. They're usually gone by midsummer, so enjoy them while you can. This would appear to be the jeweled wake robin or sweet white trillium, due to the petals being wider than the sepals. With the lack of constriction at the base of each petal, this looks, to me anyway, more like the creeping phlox. One of the last pretty little streams to ford. Makes this a nice, pleasant change. Such a pretty open area right here. Well, that'll probably last for a few more weeks yet before the leaves come in. Here's what I've been waiting for about 12 miles since I left camp this morning. But here's what I'm talking about. I would have showed you upstream, but that was looking right into the sun. This is Graybeard for Sylvan Reflections. I want to thank you for being with me for yet another adventure. It is an incredible place, the Smokies. So many beautiful things to see, to be a part of, to experience. Thank you so much, and I would really appreciate it if you could take the time to like the video, even subscribe. That would be great. Thank you so much for your help, and I'll see you next time. If you like this video, please consider clicking the like, subscribe, and notification bell.